So I managed to get my hands on an iPhone 14 replica. This is a replica of the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and it was originally made for case manufacturing, so it's supposed to be a fairly accurate representation of the final product. And it looks like all the leaks we've seen so far, so it still has a Lightning port, no USB-C, the button layout, and the stainless steel frame are quite familiar. The camera hump on the back is a little bit bigger than the one on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, but then up front, this device no longer has a notch, and instead it has a pair of punched out holes, a pill-shaped one and a circular one. Now, there's supposedly going to be 4 phones this year, 2 Pro models, the iPhone 14 Pro and the 14 Pro Max, both of which are supposed to be rocking those new punched out apertures, and then 2 non-Pro models, the 14 and 14 Max, both rumored to retain the existing notch. Now, the good news is they don't need to go Pro to get a big boy phone anymore, but the small phone is seemingly done. There's no more iPhone mini. But the talk of the town isn't about phone sizes or about punch hole cameras. It's about chips, because some of these new iPhones are supposedly going to be running an older chip. So, the iPhone 14 Pros are going to be running the upcoming A16 Bionic Chip, but the regular iPhone 14s are supposedly running the pre-existing A15 Bionic, which is the same chip that's inside the current iPhone 13. And it's got some people concerned, but I think there's more to it. So I don't actually think it's the same chip, or at least not quite. All of the iPhone 13 devices run the A15 Bionic chip. The regular model runs a 4-core GPU, but the Pro model runs a 5-core GPU, and it gets more RAM, but the extra hardware allows the Pro models to be equipped with a better camera system. Now, for the iPhone 14s, if they're really going to be running last year's chips inside the base model iPhone 14, it can't be the base model iPhone 13 chip that they take. I think they'll take an iPhone 13 Pro chip with its 5-core GPU and then stick it into an iPhone 14. I feel like they have to. That's the only way they're going to have something that they can sell. Like, the iPhone 14 has to have a very clear and compelling reason as to why I'd want to purchase that over the iPhone 13. And it just has to have a better camera system. It has to have better hardware, even if it's slight, because they can market slight hardware improvements. Like, I can already see it on stage, right? They're like, we took our best iPhone camera, the iPhone 13 Pro camera, we took it from that and we put it into the iPhone 14, and it costs less money. You can market that. You know what you can't market? Like, we took the iPhone 13, we did some software tweaks, and this is the iPhone 14. No shot, Timmy. You can't market that. As for why, though, like, why would they do this? They have done it occasionally on their budget devices, but to see it happen to the iPhone 14, it does feel bizarre, okay? And there's some theories of, like, we got the chip shortage that's happening right now. It's a very real issue, but I feel like this is Apple. Like, everything they do is super deliberate. And if I had to guess, I don't think the chip shortage has much of a play on this. I really think that it's just part of their plan. They want to, like, the one thing that comes to mind is, like, this allows them to separate their regular models and their Pro models much more aggressively. Like, right now in the current iPhone market, even last year, the iPhone 12, iPhone 13, the difference between the Pro and the regular is quite slight, right? It exists, but it's like a $200 price difference, and the feature set is, for the most part, pretty similar, okay? If you split it like this, like, maybe the iPhone 14 has a slight price increase, but over time, it allows you to make that divide bigger and bigger until you just have, like, drastically different products, and where one is truly Pro and one is truly amateur or just not Pro. But it allows, well, 2 things come to mind. Number one, it gives Apple the opportunity to push their customer base towards like more adoption, right? Imagine like AR. They're working supposedly on like Apple AR, like their Apple glasses. Imagine only the iPhone Pros with the better chips and the more capable GPU capacity. Only that can do the AR stuff in order to connect it with Apple glasses. Maybe. I'm just saying that it allows them to differentiate their products like that really nicely. And obviously, the other thing is revenue. By doing this, you're making more money as a company. If you do this split and you can put more features, more capability to the bigger phone, the better phone, but a way higher price tag. And that is Apple. They're really good at it. Now, there are a couple things on this replica iPhone 14 Pro Max that I find interesting. On the front, it's a pretty big visual shift away from a notch, but I don't know if it's just because I've been staring at iPhone's notches for like 4 or 5 years and I'm just so accustomed to seeing that, but this looks different. I will say that if you overlay the previous iPhone notches onto this device, you kind of appreciate it, but the process is apparently quite expensive. So it's supposedly triple the cost of making this front-facing camera system compared to a regular notched camera system. The Pro models are also supposed to get a 48 megapixel main sensor, and that is a very big step up in megapixel count, but also in processing requirements. Like, I feel like it's going to need a significantly more capable chip than what was in the iPhone 13 to be able to process that stuff properly. Because one of the things that Apple does is their kind of real-time processing of when you're framing shots, right? When you're just holding up your camera and you're looking at something, whatever it is, before you snap the shot, whatever you see on screen is usually a really good representation of what the shot's gonna come out like. And if that's for real, a 48 megapixel sensor that's being binned down to like a regular, 12 megapixel file, that's gonna need a lot of processing capability. I imagine that's what that A16 will be able to do better than the A15. But there's also rumors of like 8K video. I don't want that, man. It's like huge files, like really huge files. It'll chew through storage like crazy, but hey, maybe we'll see it. 8K video. Okay, that's my thoughts on the upcoming iPhone 14.